I talked about this twice. I talked about this last Saturday, and I talked about this a few days ago. Some of you may have heard it, some of you may not have heard it. For those of you who have not heard it, good for you. I'm going to tell you about what's happening. For those of you who have heard it, please re-listen to it and remember it so you can share it with other people. The importance of Dharma is not to be selfish. The importance of Dharma is when you learn something, you share it with other people accurately. When you don't listen to Dharma carefully, and also when you don't memorize it, when you don't focus on it, and you always rely on other people, it's another facet of selfishness. Why? Because you put the responsibility on other people. I'll give you an example. If you've been in Dharma more than 3 years, you should be able to already hold Dharma classes and give teachings. Yes, you should be able to. If you're not able to give teachings and hold classes, then it means there's something wrong with the way you've been learning, which is you're not really learning. Because if you go on the YouTube, even in big Christian churches, like in Singapore and stuff, you have very new people getting up and talking in front of 3, 4, 5, 600 people, giving talks. They're very, very eloquent, very good, because they're interesting. So that's why it's very important for us to be interested. Now, you guys are all reading one of the most important texts available today. And let me explain to you why you're reciting it in short, where its lineage comes from, what it's about, and what's the benefit. And why are you reciting the way you are? And why we need to recite a little louder so that we and people around us can hear. Because all of you are here on a Saturday night and you're doing a great job and you're reciting it. So I think it's my duty to explain to you why. Let me tell you why, because earlier, for a short while, I went on the webcam and I checked the whole organization, what's going on, what's happening. I do sometimes. And I saw you guys here, and I looked at, because sometimes the webcam gets stuck. So it's like pictures from days ago, and I go, oh, so many people. They go, no, that was 3 days ago. And I run here, nobody's here. It's happened before, yes. So today I made sure, this is going to go up my nose. I made sure that it was today it was, and I looked at the webcam, there's so many of you here, and I was very inspired. On the way here, I had an obstacle. But it was cleared. And so why I thought I want to come here and explain things to all of you, because you deserve it. And I thought if I explain this to you about why you're here and why you're reciting, and you understand it, it's more rewarding to do what you're doing. Because you guys are smart people, and if you get knowledge, you know what you're doing, you feel so much better. So I thought it's my duty to let you guys know why you're here on a Saturday night, reciting this. And I know you guys, 60% of what you're reciting, you don't know what they're talking about. But you're still doing it, so let me explain why, okay? It's broken down into two categories, what I want to explain to you. One is imprint, and one is lineage. And I want everybody to listen very carefully, and I want everybody to really focus, and I want everybody to really absorb, because this is knowledge I'm giving you. Then you might think, oh, but you're taking some time away from a recitation. Yes, but then your recitation will be even more beautiful, more powerful. All right? Making offerings to a Buddha statue is wonderful. But if you know why you're doing it, it becomes even more powerful. It becomes more firm. All right? So for some of you who've heard it, please listen again, and maybe I'll ask you one of these days to speak about it. Remember, if you've been in the Dharma more than 3 years, you should be able to teach Dharma to other people convincingly already. If you're still not able to, then no excuses. No justifications. I'm busy, I'm a housewife, I'm a house husband, I don't have time. I can name so many more powerful examples of people who are much more busier than you, but still can do more things. It's just if you want to or not. Imprint. Imprint in Tibetan is the word bakcha. Imprint means something that is planted in our consciousness, that is stored in our consciousness. We all know scientifically, scientifically, imprints is something that is in our minds. That is in our minds. Scientifically, it is proven. Whatever you put in your mind stays there. And you know how they prove it these days? Through regression therapy or hypnosis. Hypnosis is an established, accepted mode of finding the truth, especially with police in the US. I don't know about Malaysia, but in the US. So therefore, hypnosis and regression is a method to calm your mind down, relax your mind, so that you can remember things that cannot be remembered. What does that prove? That proves to you that your mind does not forget whatever it has seen or heard or remembered or registered. Let me repeat. The fact that under hypnosis, let's not talk about previous life hypnosis, I'm just talking about this life. It is clear, and it is the absolute accepted scientific mode of investigation, that when people go under hypnosis, they can remember things that they ordinarily cannot remember because of stress, because of fear, because of being forgetful or not concentrated, or sometimes time, meaning it's been so many years already. So therefore, through hypnosis, people can remember events that are very, very, very distant, and they can recall them. In America, when I was there in the 80s, I heard that this was outlawed. Subliminal advertisements. What is a subliminal advertisement? That in an advert, they actually have an advertisement. The commercial's about 20 to 30 seconds. But they show you an advertisement. But on the side, on the corner of the screen, they also flash something very quick. And it's so quick that the conscious mind doesn't pick it up, but the subconscious picks it up. For example, if they're trying to sell you ice cream, and they're trying to say this brand is very good, very good, very good. But you see, that's just advertisement. But they flash something on the side that says, this is the best brand, don't buy anyone else. They flash it like that. And you know what happens? A lot of people went out and bought this. And then people started suing each other because they said, this is unfair. Why? What they planted subliminally in the people's minds through advert had more effect than the actual commercial. So after a while, there was this huge debate, and there was this huge law cases, and they completely outlawed subliminal advertisement, which means things they flash on a screen just like this, not allowed anymore. Why? Because people remember that more. And it's amazing how the mind works. We're not talking about religion, we're talking about the power of the mind. So hence, an imprint is something we put in our minds, and once we put that imprint in our mind, it's remembered. For example, if we were very young, and we had a traumatic childhood, and the childhood was not very good, perhaps we were abused, perhaps we were hurt, perhaps we were told we were fat, perhaps we were told we were ugly, perhaps we were told that we'll never amount to anything, perhaps we were told that, we have no skills, no talent, perhaps we were beaten, perhaps we were starved. Those leave very powerful scars in our minds. And so when we get older, outwardly we may look like everything's fine, but inwardly we may have a lot of anger. An anger that's uncontrollable. An anger that pushes people away. An anger that comes out and we cannot control it. An anger that once it comes out, even later when we're embarrassed, we don't want to say I'm sorry or face it. And it drives people away, it drives opportunities away, it drives the Buddhas away, it drives our friends away. Why does it drive people away? Because nobody wants to be around people who are full of anger. Nobody. Nobody wants to be around that. So that may have come from an unresolved issue when we were very small kids. That when we were hurt or abused or beaten or told off or pressed down, we couldn't fight back. We couldn't talk back. We could not justify or ask for help because we were told to keep quiet. So then when we're told to keep quiet once or twice, 3 times, 4 times, this rage builds inside of us. And when that rage builds up, when we get older, when we are an adult, we are in control. We can do things, and no one can tell us anything anymore. We act out of that pain. We may not even know it, you know. We may not even know we're in pain. Do you know why? If people who have a lot of anger, 100%, there's something wrong with them. And they have something inside of them. 100%, not 99%. 100% there's something wrong with them. Crazy? No. Bad? No. Evil? No. It means they were damaged. So for these people, when they act out of anger and again and again and again, they are protecting the pain that they feel that they could not protect as a child. Let me repeat. The anger that they express to people around them is not that they're evil or bad. It is because they are protecting something deep inside of them that they could not protect when they were a child. A sign of uncontrolled anger is the anger just doesn't come down. It escalates. Another sign of uncontrolled anger is when people apologize or when things are right, they still want to make it wrong. They don't want to lose face. They want to be right. What is that? That's a clear sign that they want control because they didn't have control. So for people who have uncontrollable anger, there's a few ways to approach it. One is they have to control their anger. They have to listen to what people say. They have to listen to how they hurt people with their anger so that they don't hurt people like they were hurt. Very important for people with anger is not to give up what they're doing or to throw away what they're doing or to run away from what they're doing or to not continue what they were doing. Very important. Why is that? Because when they stop doing what they're doing, they reaffirm the anger. They reaffirm the wrong way to protect themselves. And that comes from what? An imprint from a small child. The examples I gave you are just some examples, not the full example. That's one example. Another example is when we're very young, our adults, anybody could have, schoolmates, friends, families, neighbors, TV, movies, our heroes, could have implanted in our brain, hey, money is everything. Money is the key to life. Money is the secret to life. And if you make a lot of money, and if you gather a lot of money, and if you have a lot of money, and if you are living in a lot of money, you will be secure. You will be happy. You will be respected. You will have an easy life. And you will be at peace. Someone planted that in your brain. Having money is necessary. Everybody wants money. I want money. You want money. Everybody. Without money, how to even bring Dharma to others? But you see, to believe in money and to sacrifice everything, friends, love, Dharma, yourself, for money, you will regret it deeply. Do you know why? No one in the world that has made an impact in the world tells you that money is security, is happiness, is the end in itself. No one. Not Buddha, not Jesus, not Mother Teresa, anyone you respect. Not even Bill Gates. You know what Bill Gates does? I mean, Bill Gates gives one single house to every single child that he has, and the rest of the money goes all to charity. And when they ask him why, he says, because money doesn't make my kids happy. He knows that. I'm like, wow, glad I'm not your kid. I'll be very upset if he gave away $60 billion and all I get is a rotten house. Better not to be his kid, right? But yeah, even Bill Gates, the richest guy, one of the richest people in the world, I think the second, third, I don't know, I don't care, tells you that no, I'm not giving anything to my kids because I know that they didn't make anyone happy. I'm like, wow, then why'd you make all that money? Even he tells us that. So if we run around saying, hey, I'm going to go here, do this, do that, for money, to make money, to be independent, to have a good life, to make something of myself, you know what? Someone put wrong information in your brain. You got the wrong imprint in your brain. And if you keep living like that, you're never, ever going to be happy or have peace. And you're going to find out when it's too late. You know why? Because you're not living from the truth. You're not living. So what am I trying to say? That money is bad? No. What I'm trying to say is wrong imprints. That's my point. The focus here is not money or anger. Wrong imprints. Then there are people who are totally were little princess and princesses when they were kids. Nothing this little monster can say can be wrong. Nothing the little boy and girl can do is wrong. Nothing they can eat or sleep or any way they act can be wrong. And they were nurtured and they were taken care of and they were put on little golden thrones. They had golden bibs. They had golden milk bottles. Everything was perfect. And as they grew up, they were perfect little princesses. And when they said, Mommy, I want a Barbie doll, they got 100. When they said, I want to go to McDonald's, Mommy gave them $5,000. Go buy whatever hamburgers you want. And they didn't have to work. If they failed in their jobs, Mommy will give them more money, Daddy will give them money. And you know what? It sounds funny, but it's pathetically sad. You know why? Because these are the people who grow up to be nobodies, to be nothings, and to grow up to be Mommy and Daddy's nightmare. Do you know why they grow up to be Mommy and Daddy's nightmare? Because they're still thinking they're 10 years old, so everything free, give it to me, but they're not. They can be 20, 30, 40, 50, 60. Do you know how many mamas, boys, and girls I've met in Malaysia? Do you know how many? I think 60% of the kids I've met are mamas, boys, and girls. And mama is not at fault. Mama and daddy gave them everything. It's because perhaps when mommy and daddy were growing up, they had some problems, and they don't want their kids to ever suffer. I'm sure it's from love. So I'm not blaming the parents. I'm not being diplomatic. So when the kids grow up, the kids who are smart, they say, you know what, I have a really easy life, and I'm going to just work, because no matter how much I work and make myself successful, if I fall flat on my face, mommy and daddy's still there. That's how I would do it. Really, I would do that. If I had my parents supporting me, anyways, which I don't, I would do everything. I would try this, try that, try this, try that, try everything. You know why? There's no way I can fail. There's no failure except failure itself. What's failure itself? When I don't try. I would work really hard. I would never, ever be worried. So, but people who have grown up in this kind of atmosphere, everything's given to them easily and nicely and well. You may think it's cute when your kid throws a tantrum, they want it this way, that way, and you go, well, I'm a mommy, I have to take care of them, what to do. It may be cute when they're 5, maybe 10, but not when they're 15. Not when your little princess or prince grows up and they're 20 and they're monsters. Not when they fail one job after another, they have bad manners, they embarrass people, and they scream and they cry and they do all kinds of things for attention. And these people grow up to be spinsters, male and female spinsters, because nobody can get along with them. And then they grow up further to be bitter, older people who make other people bitter and older. That's what you do to these people. That's their future. Why is that their future? Whatever you do is the result. So no matter how much you explain yourself or justify, that will be the result. Why? You cannot get a Chinese male and Chinese female and have baby and the baby comes out African. Cannot. You cannot get 2 Africans and they have a baby come out Caucasian. You cannot get 2 Caucasian baby come out American Indian. Okay, you cannot. If you have 2 Chinese, they have baby, the baby have to be Chinese. So if you've been lazy, sneaky, make justifications, don't want to do work, of course your result cannot be successful. How can lazy and sneaky get married and have successful? I don't understand. So if you're lazy, hello lazy, marry sneaky, it come out loser. You gotta be a loser. And if you're a loser, and your mama and daddy's gonna support you, that's beautiful and that's wonderful. Maybe they'll support you for the rest of your life. Maybe. But you know what? Unless the Buddha is wrong, it will be payback time. You will have to pay back. And then you're gonna get it. Karma has an ugly way of coming back. And the horrible thing about karma is not the Jade Emperor controls the world, but it's your karma that controls you. So therefore, if you have this imprint that when you're a little kid, hey, listen, whatever I do, whatever I say, people will listen to me because I'm cute. Honey, not anymore. All right, not anymore. Take a good look. I don't think anybody will think you're cute anymore. And if they tell you you're cute, it's because you're off. So if they tell you you're not, you're going to be hurt. Okay, so that's an imprint when you're a kid. That's an imprint. So every single imprint Every single imprint that's put in our minds remains in our minds. Every single imprint you put in your minds will remain in your minds. Every single imprint. Now, whether the imprints are secular, meaning about money, about face, about success, or if the imprints are dharmic, imprint is imprint. Meaning, once it's put in your mind, it's there. Once that imprint is put in your mind, it's there. How to say imprint in Chinese is a good word.
印象
Inxiang, right? Imprints are never forgotten. They're stored in your mind stream. Please remember that. Please remember that. No matter how young you are or how old you are. When the imprints are stored and you come across a situation where the imprints can be triggered, it will open up. For example, when you have an imprint and it's in your mind, you know what happens? You need a trigger. And the trigger must be something similar to the imprint. Let me repeat. If you want the imprint, or if the imprint is to open up, it has to be triggered by something similar to itself. Example. I'll give you a very simple example. Adrian has imprints that beautiful ladies who look nice will bring him great bliss. And that's imprinted in his mind. Alright, that's in his mind. So if you have a beautiful lady walk by like Pam, you go, ooh, happy. Happy. But if she walks in front of him and goes, ah, nothing triggers, nothing opens up. Nothing happens. Nothing at all. Meow walk by, take off all clothes. He's trying not to vomit. It's a joke, but think about it carefully. Alright, so let's say that that's one way of imprint. And then every time he sees a pretty lady, every time he sees pretty Pam, every morning, he says, oh, I feel happy. She's so pretty. Because when he was younger, he says a pretty lady will make him happy. And that goes over and over again. People who are controlling, when they start losing control, okay, inverted commas, when people don't do things their way, it triggers that imprint of having control. And then by anger, by shouting, by tricks, by manipulation, by tears, by poor me tactics, they will try to control the situation. And if they can't, they walk out. They leave. Do you know why? Because it triggers an imprint. And it goes over and over and over again. Let's give you another scenario. Someone who grew up with a hero that says, hey, money is everything. Money makes you successful and happy. Money is your savior, okay? Money is the best thing in the world. And if I have that, I'll be happy, I'll be secure, everything. Right? So, the minute someone says, hey, do you want to make money? Or maybe you want to do Dharma work. I don't want to do Dharma work. I want money. Does money make me happy? Dharma work doesn't make me happy. That view is wrong, but that's what is in their mind since they were young. Maybe someone put them down when they're young. You're poor. You're nothing. So they say, when I grow up, I'll prove myself. It can be many reasons. You see, those people who reject doesn't mean they're bad. It just means they're living out of their ignorance. This session and what I'm teaching is not about good and bad. It's not about wrong and right. It's not about who's bad and who's good, who's to be saved. It's not about that. It is about how our mind operates. And I want to use those examples that I've given you. Okay, for some people, all right? Some people, maybe when they were younger, their parents put them down. So when they grow, and many years they put them down. And so when they grow up, you know what happens? They can't take criticism. They can't have anyone tell them that they're wrong, or the way they're doing it can be better. And everybody's got to be careful around them. Everybody's got to tiptoe around them. Everybody's got, blah, blah's here, we better be careful. Like a volcano. Why? Because anything will trigger them off. Why was anything trigger them off? Because when they were younger,
When people told them that, they became angry, they couldn't talk. Now they can. Some people, opposite. Some people, no volcano, like a calm lake. Some people, when they're younger, they have no control, right? And they talk and talk and talk, they fight back, they talk. Someone says something, they fight back, someone talks to them, they fight back, someone criticizes them, they fight back, someone says something to them they don't like, they fight back. They notice that fighting doesn't get them anywhere because no one listens to them because they're young, no knowledge, nobody respects them, nobody. So they do another way, they be quiet. They be quiet, they go inside, they don't make noise, they don't make any sounds, they look like everything's normal, and they don't even make comments, and they completely become silent. And no matter how much you say or do or help or love, they never open up and they never talk. They never ever come out. Do you know why? Because when they were younger, it was imprinted in their minds that if they talk back, no one's going to listen. Better if they keep quiet. It's a better way to show they're not happy. It's a better way to show people that they give silent hostility. And that's the way they find that. And being quiet doesn't make them happy. Also, for the other person who shout back, don't make them happy either. Because they're not shouting or talking from peace. It's from damage. Maybe I did some business with this nice lady 10 years ago. Maybe I did business with her. And I had a bad experience with her, very bad. So in the future, I don't want to. I don't want to do business. I don't want to do this work. Maybe I don't want to do Dharma work with her, or a secular work, or whatever. And every time people ask me to do something or try something that can benefit many people, I don't want to do it. Do you know why I don't want to do it? Because I keep reflecting back on what happened with this lady. And so the whole world and everybody's exactly like this lady. It's her fault even though it wasn't. And so every time someone asks me to do Dharma work or secular work or something, anything, it triggers that fear. Oh, yo, last time I worked with this lady, become like that. I can't. I'm not ready. I can't. I run. I can't do it. Don't make me. If you force me, I run. You know why they talk like that and act like that? Because they choose to hold on to the pain. You see, they were hurt and they were scarred. It's definitely true. People hurt people. Let's not put this Dharma thing. It's all empty. There's no hurt. Everything's emptiness. Everything you feel is nothing. Empty. Heart Sutra. No ear, no eye, no nose, no feeling, no tongue, no smell, no nothing. No gay, no straight, nothing. Yeah, that's ultimately, that's here. That's Buddha Shakyamuni and Kuan Yin and Manjushri. But for clowns like me and you, got ears, got tongue, got feeling, got hurt, got greed. For clowns like us, got. So is that dualism? No, it's not dualism. It's at our level. No. So if you are practicing Buddhism and reading Lamrim and you have a teacher and you're doing mantras and prayer, let me share something with all of you. Of course you got pain. But you know how you get rid of it? Let me share with you. By not avoiding it and running away from it. And if you need to be hurt another 100 or 200 times in order to overcome it, go for it. Do you know why? Now, so you know how you get over that pain? When someone says something to you and you feel like shutting down and closing up, don't. Don't shut down and don't close down. Don't. Speak up, express, share, and when they slap you down again, speak up, express, and share. Do you know why? It's not about them putting you down. It's about you allowing to be put down. It's not about them. It's about you. You can't change the whole world. You can't make everybody act and think the way you want, and then you will do what you're supposed to do. You can't. So next time you want to shout and you want to throw a biat, really a biat just to get back because you're so hurt, don't. And it's very hard, but it's harder if you keep shouting. It's harder if you withdraw. It's harder for the rest of your life if you withdraw and run away. That's more hard than dealing with the pain. And if you believe in karma and reincarnation and next life, that's all the more reason you should deal with it because you're going to take it with you in your next life, which is I'm going to show you in the videos. You're going to take it with you. Whatever the trauma you're feeling, you will take it with you. There are some people who can remember their lifetime 200 years ago, but nothing in between. You know why? Because what happened to them 200 years ago was more traumatic than what happened 100 years ago. Example, if this nice guy came up to you when you were a little kid and gave you a big fat slap, right? And took your lollipop going, yeah, 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 yeah. And then this guy gave you a lollipop, this guy gave you a lollipop, this guy gave you a lollipop, this guy molested you. You're going to remember this guy and this guy. You know what? It was more traumatic. No, he didn't molest me, no lah. I'll tell you who he molested. No lah, he didn't molest nobody. He's not that time. I'm just kidding. My point is this. Things that are more traumatic, you will remember more. And that's why even if it happened 500 years ago, you remember. That's why there are some Rinpoches who are great teachers and great scholars and great writers, or great illuminators of the Dharma. Even 500-600 years later, when they come back, even when they're very young, they will do the same thing again. Do you know why? Because that imprint was stronger than the food they ate, the language they spoke, or the language that they read it. There are some Rinpoches come back, they're very bad in Tibetan. Very bad. But for your previous life, Tibetan what? It didn't make an imprint. It was the action. So like that, I can have all of you give me a lollipop, but I'll remember the guy who took my lollipop away. Do you know why? I'm going to get you in the hallway. You know why? Because that was very traumatic. I was 4, I was innocent, I was very cute. And I was just running along, hop skipping, having a nice lollipop, sucking on it, and singing a nice little song by Madonna. Something innocent like, I'm a virgin. And this monster came along saying, hi little boy, can I see your lollipop? I'm like, yes, uncle. He went, nah. And I'm like, oh no! And I cried for an hour or 2 hours. So later when I grew up to be such a beautiful, slim, handsome monk, what you laughing at? I said handsome and slim, and everybody's like, I have my own illusions and delusions. We all see the way we want to see. I mean, you know, if I stand in front of a circus mirror, I'll be very slim. The one that goes like that, very slim. Anyways. So when I grow up to be the handsome, slim person that I am, if someone says, can I see a lollipop? Why? That memory sticks with me. How come the others doesn't? Don't you have memories in your mind that stands out stronger than others? Because they were more traumatic. So, if something is more traumatic, it's not that they don't remember other things. It's that stands out. That's why even after 200-300 years, why do they remember that previous life or that life? It was more traumatic. Or it could have been even more better than other lifetimes. They felt better. They'll remember. Okay, that's like that. That's called an imprint. So therefore, if imprints are possible for 5 years ago, 6 years ago, 10 years ago, 20, 30, 40, 50, it can be possible for 100, 200 years ago, 300 years ago. So you can remember your previous lives. You can have imprints in it, 100%. Now, imprints are that important. So whatever imprints we have received, we live from those imprints. Fear, happiness, joy, sharing, selfishness, giving, generosity, miserliness, anger, peace, harmony. Those are all results of the imprints we have experienced. Whatever you are experiencing now is the imprints you planted in your mind a few years back. So whatever imprints you're planting in your mind now is what you're going to experience a few years later. And the cycle goes on. Does everybody understand? So if I'm sad, I'm depressed, poor me, I'm not successful, I need your help, I can't do it, I won't make it, you know what? You're right, you're not going to make it. And you're going to keep losing out. Oh, I'll do Dharma work later. You will never do it later, I promise you, never. You will never, ever do Dharma work later. Do you know why? Because you don't create the causes. So if your teacher gives you an assignment or you made a promise, hey, I'm going to do Dharma work, and then later you run away, you don't do it, anger or whatever, like trauma, it's not your bad. But let me make it clear to you, you will never do it later. Never. I didn't say you won't be in Dharma, you will never do Dharma work. You know why? Because you don't create the causes. Okay? If you never have a baby, don't tell me how you're going to raise your baby when you have it. Don't talk about that. I want to have a beautiful little girl. I always want a little girl. I want a pink room. I want a pink blanket. I want everything pink. I would call her pink. Everything's pink. But if you never have a beautiful little girl, you're going to be in that pink bedroom wrapping yourself in the pink blanket. That's it. So it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. Oh, I want to get a date. I want to get a lover. I want to get a friend. I want to get this. I want to get that. Don't make fun of me. Don't make fun of my insecurities. Don't make fun of my body. Don't make fun of me. Don't make fun of my character. Don't make fun of me. Because if you do, I'm not going to talk to you. I'm going to ignore you. I'm going to throw a BF. That's great for you. But how many BFs are people going to take from you because you're nobody? You're nothing. You know why you're nobody and nothing? Not because you really are, because you chose it. So if you keep putting that imprint in your mind, later you'll have the same imprint. I don't have time. I'm tired. I'm scared to do it. You are scared. Maybe you don't have time in your subjective opinion. Maybe you really do feel like this. You know, I'm not denying your feelings and how you are at the moment. I'm not denying that. What I'm saying is, but you will continue to be fearful or deny or run or not do. Do you know why? Because that's what you're doing now. And your mind now and your mind later is one mind. How can two Chinese have a Caucasian baby? How can two Caucasians have an African baby? How can a beautiful African couple have a Chinese baby? Cannot. So how is it now you cannot do, you cannot do, you cannot do, you don't want to do, you don't have time, you don't have the ability, you're poor me, I don't want to, it has to be like that, like this, like that. And then you make all these conditions and you can't do it, later you won't. I know some of my students who've been with me 15, 16 years, they are still telling me they can't. They are still telling me they cannot. And I go, oh my God, you are 100 years old. When are you going to do it? Some of them I tell them directly, some of them I don't. You know why? Depends on their level. It's not me. It depends on their level. Some people I tell directly, some people I don't. Some people I go around the block, some people are very nice, some people are very fierce. You know why? Depends on their level. And if their level is very low, and they're very traumatized, and they don't want to deal, they run away easily. I don't say much, I don't do much, I just smile, oh, you're wonderful, you're beautiful, you're a Buddha. Why? That's their level. I don't say much. It's not I'm afraid. It's not that I'm afraid. So, imprints is very important. Therefore, every single thing that you do leaves an imprint. Everything that you do leaves an imprint in your mind. You know what it's called? It's called pacha. That's a philosophical word in Buddhism, in Tibetan Buddhism, pacha. And pacha is very important. Hence, if you see an image of the Buddha and what his body represents, and the 84,000 teachings of the Buddha is encompassed in his body, and his hand, and his mudra, and his sitting, and his face, and his structure, and his way of sitting. Everything has a meaning. The meaning is not imputed. The qualities that a Buddha has is not imputed. It exists on its own. Why is the qualities of a Buddha not imputed? If the qualities of a Buddha is imputed, then the Buddha cannot be out of samsara. Only a fully enlightened being has qualities that are imputed, but exist on its own. Imputation. He is a bad person. He is a good person. He is rich. He is poor. He is helpful. He is nice. He is loyal. He is a backstabber. He is not nice. He is handsome. He is ugly. Those are imputations because they don't exist. You know why they don't exist? Because the one person will say, oh, he's my good friend. I like him. He's very nice. The other person said, no, I don't like him. So who's right, who's wrong? Since there's no right and wrong, the subjective view must be imputation. The imputation is based on a past previous imprints. Then people say, well, same thing for Buddha. Some people blow up the Buddha statue. They say it's bad, it's demonic, it's satanic. Correct. That is imputation. Why? Because if we check out Buddha's teachings, there's nothing there that's negative and horrible. That is imputed by the perceiver. I'm going into philosophy with you. Hence, Existing on its own or existing on imputation is what we're dealing with now. And those arise from imprints. Listen carefully. Don't blank out because it gets a little deep. Do not blank out because it gets a little deep. You know why? Because you're reinforcing the mind that I can't think deeper. I don't want to think deeper. I don't want to dwell deeper. Wrong. Since the existence of a Buddha and its positive qualities of wisdom, compassion, and skillful means does not arise from our imputation, but it arises from his or her attainments, such as Tara or Tsongkhapa, then when we perceive positive qualities about a Buddha, it is not imputed perception. It is perception of the actuality. Hence, when it's imputed from actuality, it plants imprints. That means when you see the legs of the Buddha folded together in meditational equipoise, that means through 3 aeons of severe Dharma practice, he has become the awakened one. Hence, when you see the Buddha's leg wrapped like this, it implants in you asceticism, practice, and effort not to give up. So the next time people talk to you about that, having seen the Buddha's leg, you will not give up as easy. Because why? When people talk to you about that, it will trigger the imprint of the Buddha's body. But you say, I don't know the meaning. Correct. You don't need to know the meaning because its existence is not dependent on your perception or imputation. A Buddha's quality is unchanging. Your qualities are changing. Your qualities are changing because you are living from self-cherishing mind, imputation. Hence, your qualities change. That's why people change. A Buddha's quality does not change. Hence, that is one of the reasons a Buddha is a perfect object of refuge. That's why a Buddha is a perfect object that we can take refuge, prostrate, see, and plant imprints with, and wear on our bodies. That's why we should have beautiful altars and beautiful images and beautiful pangas, and we should make beautiful shrines, because every day we see it, it plants an imprint. You say, but my don't understand. They don't have to understand. They don't have to understand. You see, if I give you a $100 bill, US, all right, US dollar bill, does it itself have power of $100? Yes or no? Yes. Unless the US Mint goes bankrupt, right? It has power. Wherever you go, it's 100 US dollars. You go to Indonesia, you change it, it's 5 million rupiah, whatever it is. You guys understand? So if I give this 100 US dollars to Nicholas, he said, oh, thank you. Can we be friends? He'd be very happy. If I give it to some Tibetan in Tibet who's never been educated, doesn't see the dollar, doesn't use money, they barter. Ask Molam, they barter. You know, I give you 1 kg of cheese, you give me 1 kg of yak meat. Okay, no money. Okay, so if I go to Tibet and I give Molam's mother 100 US dollars, she'll say, oh, nice paper, go ahead. It's not she's stupid, she don't know. Even if Molam's mother doesn't know the value of 100 US dollars, does that mean the 100 US dollars doesn't have value? Hello? No. So the value of the US dollar is not imputed, is it? Is it imputed? Is the value of the 100 US dollars imputed or not, everybody? Louder, please, or else I go home. No. Thank you. But it has value on its own, correct? Okay. If I give you a piece of paper and I write it's worth 100 US dollars and I give it to Nicholas, I say I owe you. Will it have value for him? It might if we're very good friends and I've never cheated him, right? But if I've never met him, I say give me $100, I owe you. He says, see you later. Here's a big kite, fly it. So that value on a piece of paper is imputed or not? Yes or no? Just not trick questions. Come on. Yes. Anybody went to school here? Got right? Is the value written on $100 imputed? Yes. Right. So therefore, it doesn't have value on its own. Right? The $100 written on a piece of paper is our fears and insecurities and our perception of our situation. The 100 US dollars from the US Mint is Buddha. Does everybody understand that? I'm afraid of Dharma work. You know what I'm afraid of? Let me tell you what I'm afraid of. I'm afraid of rotten microphones that don't stay on my ear. I'm paranoid. Paranoid about that. And I've lost weight. This is falling down. I have. These days I don't have to put the belt here or here. Just here, lah. It's true. I lost weight. You think where I lost weight? Don't try to look at it. Yeah, I know. There's no more holes to go. For the belt. Ayun, kugang medyo ka. It keeps falling down. Ah! Oh, thanks. Oh, we got into the last hole. That belt hole, you know, it's way back here. I couldn't fit that belt hole for years, but I could now. You know why? Because I've been on a diet. You know what kind of diet? A bagel and cream cheese. Yo, this one's so nerdy, I tell you. How to torture your teacher so he never gets a Dharma talk. You guys found the secret. Okay. Hence, if we operate on imputed value or imputation, we always get something wrong. If we operate on the truth or actual existence, we will win. You know why we will win? Truth cannot be altered. Truth cannot be altered. So let's say that Professor Choi was a monster. For the rest of my life, I think she's a monster. Maybe not. Maybe she wasn't a monster. Maybe I was the monster. She acted like that with me to protect herself. I don't know that. And maybe 30 years later when I meet her, she's so soft and nice and gentle, and I go, oh, you're so nice. You see, that could happen with Professor Choi, but it couldn't happen with Buddha. I couldn't go back to Buddha a year later and he's a monster. It's impossible. Because his attainments are not imputed. Hence, we can take refuge in the Buddha. Hence, we can prostrate to a Buddha. Hence, we should bring statues of Buddha to our home. Hence, we should prostrate and make offerings and make refuge to the Buddha. Hence, we should recite our prayers and meditations in front of the Buddha without ever stopping. That's more important than anything else. Why? Because the goodness that we see from Buddha is not imputed. It is existing on its own. Those who feel sorry for themselves, those who don't want to improve or change or push themselves, those who are still greedy and still scared and still don't want to do more, they are living on past imprints. Those imprints were made in their mind and they're living on it. How do they break it? Through practice, through study, through contemplation, and most of all, effort. So when they come across a difficult situation, they got to do it. If they come across a difficult situation and they don't do it, and they run, then they're going to run again and again and again and again. And they say, oh, I'll do it 5 years later, I'll do it 1 year later, I'll do 10 years later. No, you won't. You will not. From my experience, you will not. Do you know why you will not? You know why? Because you never have done it before to create the causes to do it. Always. And if you finally do it because you're desperate, or you're at wit's end, or you're at the end of your life and you do it, you're not really doing it either. Do you know why you're not really doing it? Because you're not doing it because you want to. You have nothing else to do. So therefore, we should not wait for that. Now, if by seeing a Buddha statue we can find imprints, anything and everything in our lives creates imprints. If we meet a monk and we show respect, and we are humble, and we walk by with a humble and respectful attitude, you know what happens? You will create the causes for yourself to be able to hold your vows, your commitments, and your samaya clean. Do you know why? Because a monk is a monk by virtue of their vows. So if you're disrespectful to a monk, if you're rude to a monk, if you don't follow their instructions or show any type of deference, and you always cover, you always even dare talk about them, you create the causes that you will be sleepy during Dharma talks, you'll be sleepy during Dharma, your Dharma will not be clear, you cannot apply the Dharma, and you won't be able to hold your vows, and you'll break your vows over and over and over again until you can't hold your vows. The worst thing is during Dharma talk, you'll be very sleepy. Very, very sleepy. Do you know why? The highest giving The highest form of giving and the highest form of receiving is giving the Dharma and receiving the Dharma. The highest form. Why is that the highest form? Because it penetrates to the truth and you receive the truth. Hence, you observe people and their actions and how they act. People who are close to their teachers, close to the Buddha, they're close to the truth, are not defensive, do not shut off, can take criticism, do not show a black face, but they exude or emanate compassion, understanding, wisdom, maturity. Why? Being close to the Guru is not the physical Guru. Being close to the Guru means having listened to the teachings and practiced. You will change. Even for some of you, having listened to your Guru, listened to the Dharma, how has your mind received some wisdom and calmed down? How has your mind found a little bit of solace? Yes, your mind still jumps, you still get angry, you still get disappointed, you still feel upset, you still feel like giving up sometimes, but how much less has it become? That will prove to you that being close to the Lama, the teachings, the Dharma, has a beneficial effect on your mind. Has a beneficial effect. Why does it have a beneficial effect? Because the Lama or the teachings or the Dharma gives you something that when you check with your mind, it makes sense. It's not based on fear. It's not based on threats. It's not based on you will go to hell. It's not based on any of that. That's why in Buddhism, we don't tell everybody else if you're not Buddhist, you go to hell. Or you're satanic, or you're wrong, or you're going the wrong way. Or we want to burn their images, burn their saints, burn their religious iconography. We never say that. Buddhists never say that in the 2,600 years it's been existing on this earth. It never, ever threatens other religions, puts them down, burns their iconography, tells them they're satanic, they're wrong, they're going to go to hell. Never. Buddhists always say, respect them. Make them happy. Don't disturb people. Understand their religion. They are people, we all want to be happy. Let's be happy together. Let's not find differences but similarities. No Buddhist teacher of any Buddhist tradition will put other religions down and threaten you with other religions. Or threaten other people of other religions with Buddhism. Never! But you will hear that from certain, not religions, certain fanatical people. That if you don't accept what they're saying, it's demonic, it's satanic, they will burn. You know, I've heard of people who come to people's homes and take their Taoist images and burn them. They burn their images and they read things and they say, oh, we did such a good thing, hallelujah. It's horrible. I would never go to a Chinese home, take their Taoist deities. I don't believe in the Taoist deities in the sense of taking refuge, but I respect them because that's 5,000 years of culture. How do you say, before us, everything was wrong? If everything before us was wrong, everybody in China is wrong, China is not successful, China is stupid, China is not a great culture, it's not a great country, everything they did was wrong. That's not true. That's not true. And before we brought religion, our religion to China, everybody went to hell. What? So if you accept my religion, everybody from now on goes to heaven. But before that, you go to hell. So my grandmother went to hell, her grandmother, my grandmother was such a beautiful lady to me. I don't think she's in hell rotting away. I think she's sitting next to Tsongkhapa having tea. I don't think she went to hell because she didn't accept their religion. And their religion is later. So we can get into ridiculous debate. You see, we can find all these differences, but we don't have to. You know why? Nobody wins. Nobody ever wins. Nobody will ever win. Past, present, and future. There'll be deaths, disharmony, destruction, murder, killing for religion. Cannot. So it's better as religious people, as Buddhists, religious people, we respect other religions. And we don't threaten them. If you're not Buddhist, you don't go to Kechara Paradise. Honey, you guys are not going to go to Kechara Paradise either if you don't practice, just because you're Buddhist. Oh, I took refuge. My refuge name is Tenzin Imprint. And I'm going to go to Kechara Paradise because I took refuge. I wish it was that easy. I wish all of us can take refuge and we can do whatever we want. Hop, skip, jump. Go kill chickens, own KFC. We can do whatever we want and we still go to Kechara Paradise. I don't think so. You know why? You don't go to heaven just because you accept something. You don't become a doctor just because you say, I want to go to medical school. You don't become healed just because you say, oh, the doctor is excellent. You become healed if you go for the treatment, you finish your medical school, or you do your Dharma practice. So what we want to do as Buddhists, here and everywhere, is not to criticize and put other people down, or to threaten them with our religion. That's not what we want to do. Do you know why? It doesn't give them peace, it doesn't give us peace. And they run around saying, oh my God, you got statues in your house, we gotta burn it, you're gonna go to hell, burn, hell, burn. You just go, I don't think so. I don't think by being kind and compassionate and loving and forgiving and being filial and respecting the law and being good people and generous will make me go to hell. Because if that makes me go to hell, the God you pray to is a very fierce, jealous, ugly desert God. And I don't think it's like that. And if I'm a Buddhist and Mr. Lu is a scary fundamentalist Catholic, not a real Catholic, because those are real nice people. Look at Mother Teresa. I would prostrate and put my head on her feet. She's a beautiful person. But he's a fundamentalist Catholic. And then he's going to rent a place for I have a shop lot, let's pretend I own 20. I love it, a Mongol. I'm a Mongolian Mongol. And then he's going to rent the place for me, and he's going to promote his thingy. I said, you know what? Well, this came from a real life situation, but never mind. And if I rent it to him, then my God will not bless me because I'm helping him promote his God. In the last 2 months, I've come across people like that. They don't want to rent because you're promoting your God, and their God won't give them blessings anymore. That's what they said. I was like, I felt like saying, do you know who I am? But never mind. Do you know that I can debate with you until the cows come home and they go out again? And you will still not convince me. I want to say, do you know who I am? Not that I'm a Rinpoche, not that, come on, I'm a little smarter than that. I'm not like this peasant from Tibet that came out eating yaks. Hello? That's what they actually said. That if they rent this place to us, because we are not their religion, then their God will not bless their business and they will not be successful. I was like, God's quite meticulous, huh? He remembers everyone who didn't follow his law, then that's it. Very meticulous. He must be a Yok Fui, the accountant. Can you imagine in the sky there's Yok Fui there? You rented your shop lot to him for 3 years. No heaven. You know Yok Fui. Where is she? No, I don't. Oh, there. You know how Yok Fui shows you. You go there. Excuse me, we're going to do Waisake. It's going to cost us $100. She goes, No answer. She just gives you that side look. I think if we can see God as Yok Fui. Just kidding. Yok Fui is wonderful. Personally, I think God is. Wasting now. But then again, that's imputed. Now you like that one, huh? It's imputed. Yes, it's imputed. Now, so every imprint that we do puts something in our minds. Does everybody understand that? For this life and future lives. And when that imputation is put in your mind, put inside this is your consciousness, all right? It's put inside your consciousness. It stays there until it's triggered. Or purified or resolved. You know how you purify it? You can talk about it. You can do practices. You can resolve it. Then it's purified. It's gone. Then there's nothing there. Nothing. But if you leave it there, it can become more. Why? If there's something in the cup, it can gather dust and bacteria faster than you. So like that, you have to purify it. You have to get it out. So therefore, if you're afraid of doing, let me just use Dharma work because we're here. If you're afraid of doing Dharma work, you shouldn't be. You know why? It's not Dharma that scares you. It's not Dharma that creates problems. It's people. And the people have changed. The situation's different. It's another place. It's another time. It's another guru. Things are different. So why do you have to keep living the same thing over and over and over like a bad movie? You ever watch a bad movie? You play it over and over and over or turn on some other movie? Another movie, right? When you play it over and over and over again. Change the movie. Change the CD. Okay, for some of you guys, change the VSH tape. Now, imprints are that important. So if you're feeling depressed, you're feeling unhappy, you're feeling down, you're feeling sad, you're feeling sorry for yourself, you know why? Because that's what you've been doing. So we'll continue, and continue, and continue, and continue, unless you say it's enough. It will never stop.